Oh my god, I am.
No, I know you were stressing.
Fuck, it's scary.
Only one girl can stay in the villa, and that decision will be down to the four of you.
Am I surprised with the bottom three? No, I'm not. I'm not surprised with the guys, neither am I surprised with the boys. And I think at the end of the day, we all knew that Emma was going to go home, given the fact that she didn't do what the producers wanted her to do, which was to break up Helena and Harry. And then, what do I think? What do I think of the little spin at the end? I don't get it. I don't get how we're saying that the two girls are vulnerable. This is a no-win situation for someone like Bilicus. And if Bilicus is dumped, let this be a call out to all ladies from a specific ethnic group that maybe Love Island is not it for you. Maybe there needs to be an Love Island that's specific for women of a certain ethnic group. I don't mean to make my comments racial or my reviews racial, but at the end of the day, we barely got to see Bilicus. We've only got to see her because there's now trouble in her connection. But prior to that, we never got to see her. Same thing when she was with Boris. Now same thing with Cash. We only get to see her when there is a likelihood that her partner is going to leave her or her partner is saying something negative. So let this be a call to people from a specific ethnic group that maybe Love Island is not for you. Maybe you need to look at other shows because on Love Island, you're never going to get a fair shot. And that's just my opinion. And I'll stick to it 10 toes with my full chest, given the fact that it's consistently the same. We had the same thing with, who can we say? Tanya. We had the same thing. Mimi was the only lucky one. We had the same thing with Catherine in the All-Stars. So there has to be a point where people say enough is enough. We need to stop going here because we might not be the demographic that the people want to see. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 12, Episode 44. Just a disclaimer, because I call someone disrespectful or I don't like something about them, doesn't mean I hate them. I do not know Dijon enough to hate him. I'm sorry. I do not know him enough to hate him. All I know is what I get to see on TV. But I would like to say that I dislike how he's spoken to the girls. I find him disrespectful in how he's presented himself. Whether it's the edit or not, he is disrespectful to the girls across the board. Your argument was Ben and Harrison were disrespectful. Yes, they were disrespectful. The difference is they were disrespectful to girls they were in couples with, whereas Dijon is disrespectful across the board. And the other guys apologized when they were called out. I'm yet to hear Dijon apologized to anyone by Yasmin, because Yasmin had held his feet to the fire and production must have spoken to him about it. So maybe this is why he apologized. Maybe he was told you'll only get a date if you apologize. And so they were doing this redemption arc for him. This is why he apologized. I don't get how suddenly he's apologetic, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, so we get Bilicus having a conversation with Cash. They're really flirty and they're really cute. They're joking about hand sizes, and it was nice to see them just talk about natural things, not, oh, do you like me? I like you. Do you think our connection is strong? No, it was really cutesy. And I think Bilicus, with her opening up, because initially she says, I have my guard up all the time because I'm afraid to be, have my heart broken. So I think her opening up and her talking to him like this is showing Cash different sides of her, things that he's liking about her. Tony's at the mini fire pit with Jamie and with Yaz, and she's sort of saying she's still open to that idea of exploring a connection with Cash, but she doesn't know whether Cash is open to that idea. Jamie says, his ego was bruised, so you have to bear with him. It's going to take a while because, a lot of things happen. And it's like, no, I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I think Tony needs to speak to production and they need to bring her in her own person. She needs to leave this man alone. She broke this man on TV. And my worry is, if Harrison were to come back and say, Tony, I'm back, would she say we're completely done? Or would she still be open to that? Because it's away from the cameras. So personally, I don't think, she should be exploring anything with Cash. You have Helena pull Harry to the fire pit because she is upset that Harry apparently was flirting. He was flirting with Angel when he was asking her about wearing knickers. What I find interesting is this. every time Harry is exploring a connection, Helena blames the girls. She never blames Harry, she blames the girls, because she's saying to Harry, oh, if you keep giving her that impression, she's going to think you're interested, and then she's going to keep pursuing you. And it's like, but Harry is sitting right in front of you and is pursuing this girl. In him asking about knickers, why would he ask about knickers? To someone he's not interested in. That should open your eyes enough. Every single time Harry has done something, it's always been blamed on the other girl by Helena. And it's like, Helena, open your eyes. For her to say, oh, I didn't realize that it's that easy to set boundaries. It's like, girl, how old are you? You're 30 years old and you don't know how to set boundaries. Make it make sense? You then have Cash have a conversation with Jamie. I think Jamie was sent to test the waters, because Jamie's asking, how's your connection with Bilicus? How do you feel about Tony? And it's like, leave him alone. Yes, they spoke about the fact that with Bilicus, it took a long time for the fire to build, whereas with Tony it was instantaneous. But he's saying now at the moment the fire is roaring with Bilicus and it's also roaring with Tony, so he doesn't know which way he's going to go. His head is scrambled. I am surprised that he's put himself in this situation, because I remember very well when he said he would never put Bilicus in a love triangle, and yet here she is. She's stuck right smack in the middle. And it's like, why are we doing this to her? She asked you before you started exploring a connection to say, will you go back? You said no, so I don't get it. You have Bilicus on the day beds with Angel. They're just talking and chatting. She's talking about her connection to, Cash. Tony then goes to pull Cash for a chat. She wants to take him to the hideaway first off, and he said no. He agreed to the terrace, but he said the hideaway no. And it's like, I have a feeling production had told him, go to the hideaway. Tell them to take you to the hideaway. And I'm happy that he refused. He said, we can have a conversation on the terrace. They went to the terrace because he said going to the hideaway is making a statement. Yes, it is making a statement. It's telling Bilicus that you and I are done and I am moving back to Tony. So I agree with him that doing that was unacceptable. For Tony to ask for a kiss, I don't know. I'm happy that he said no. I know at some point he might say yes after a lot of pressure, but I'm happy that he said no. He needs to speak to Bilicus first, because that's his partner. She asked him, I'm going to repeat, at the start, before they started exploring anything, that, are you open to exploring with me? He said yes. She asked him, are you going to go back to Tony? He said no. So he has to respect that. This bruised Tony's ego. She wasn't happy. She was telling everyone. She even told Harry that, he rejected me twice. And it's like, yeah, what do you expect? Well, they were on the terrace. What I found funny was that Bilicus was worried about what's going on. She was asking, Angel, what's going on? Where are they? What's going on? And it's like, I get her insecurity. One, they had a spark. Two, the fact that they ended up in the terrace. She has just come from the terrace with this guy and given him a kiss because he wanted to explore a kiss with her. So for him to take somebody else is heartbreaking. And so I hope Cash, if nothing else, reassures her. Well, he tried to reassure her afterwards, because you then had Tony go to the den with the girls. She sat down with Shakira and Yaz. And I think the girls are a bit split, because they're friends with Tony and they're also friends with Bilicus. And so what I like is they're not saying to her, go, 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 the way Helena and Meg would cheer each other on. Instead, what they're doing is they're just listening and they're telling her, their opinions that, he's rejected you, but you have to understand his ego is bruised and you have to allow him to process whatever he wants to process. I don't think he should go back. Unless it's been pressure to go back, I don't think he should go back. As I said yesterday, if he's going back, then they need to bring in someone for Bilicus. You had Harry having a conversation with Cash, and Cash is saying, he wanted to kiss Tony, but he has to be respectful because he's been hurt by somebody, and I don't think he wants to put anyone else in that position. He is doing what he said to himself, that, if this were my sister, how would I want her to be treated? And so he is being respectful to Bilicus because he understands that Bilicus is an open book, and if she's not happy about something, she's going to let him know, so he doesn't want to do that. Tony's letting anyone with ears to hear. Even when they were getting ready for bed, she told the girls that, I was rejected. And it's like, yeah, what do you think? I am curious as to whether there was a conversation between Bilicus and Tony before Tony decided to go back to Cash. Because I would want to think there was that level of respect accorded to them. Anyway, they get ready for the night. The guys and the girls go to bed. And then Emma's asking Cash, what happened? Did you want to kiss Tony? He said yes. And then he was asked, did you kiss Bilicus? Yes. Did you want to kiss Bilicus? Yes. So I wish they would just stop this merry-go-round. In the morning, the islanders wake up, the girls go and get ready, the guys are busy making coffees, And the guys, while they're making coffees, you have Dijon ask Cash, have you made your mind up? Have you decided which girl you're going after? And he said, well, I'm still scrambled. I'm still conflicted. This is why I'm making coffees for both girls. You then have the islanders split into little groups, and it's interesting sort of the dynamics of who was sitting together. I think the rest of the girls were not as ecstatic about Meg becoming girlfriend as production or Meg expected, and this is why Meg only got to sit with her partner in crime, with Helena, whereas with the boys you had Dijon, Boris, and Harry at the fire pit. The main topic of conversation is the boyfriend and girlfriend situation. Meg is ecstatic. She, didn't expect it, so she's surprised that he asked her to be his girlfriend. Dijon on his part is saying he's happy he made her his girlfriend because his girlfriend is always his best friend and she has his back, so this is why he's excited and he can't wait for them to go into the real world. And it's like, if that makes you happy, good for you. You then have this conversation about Harry saying he's thinking of making things exclusive. Do I think Harry fully understands what exclusive means? No. Do I think it could be part of gameplay? Yes. Because he's just been flirting with someone and asking her about her knickers, and suddenly he's ready to make her exclusive. I think maybe her standing her ground, or him sort of strategically thinking that this might be the best idea given the fact that they're coming to the end of the show. Those are the only two reasons I can think of him wanting to make it exclusive with Helena. In the den, you have Connor and Ty. They're sort of talking about their connections. And Connor is joking about the fact that it seems like Ty and Angel are always busy every night. They're always keeping people up. So they're having this chat about the connection and how well it's growing. On his part, Connor is saying that he feels some type of way because he's always wanted an independent girl, and Shakira is right at the opposite end of the spectrum. She's not clingy. She's not always wanting him to do stuff for her. So it's something he's having to adjust to, which I think is good for Connor. I think it's good because Connor is someone who comes across as very self-centered most times. This is something he struggled with, especially when he was in a couple with Emma, because I remember Emma calling him out and saying, why do we always have to do things your way? So I'm happy that he's with someone who challenges him, someone like Shakira. Shakira is saying on her part, she feels like Connor is miles ahead of her. And it makes sense because he is the one who wanted to explore the romantic connection first. He is the one who developed feelings. She was still seeing him as a friend. So it makes sense that he would be ahead. As long as she feels something and she feels it's growing, then the better. Tony is still feeling some type of way because she was pied. She's still in her feelings about that. She understands that, Cash was being respectful, and it's like, Tony, you need to move on. It's not that big a deal. It really is not that big a deal. You brought this on yourself. You can't expect him to jump just because you've clicked your heels. I would rather, I'm going to repeat, he stay with Bilicus. On his part, surprisingly, instead of sitting with the girls, you had Yaz sitting with the boys. So she was sitting with Jamie and with Cash. And I don't like this because it seems like she's advocating for Tony. And it's like, what about Bilicus? Who's going to advocate for Bilicus? Because at the end of the day, Bilicus didn't put this man in this awkward situation. Tony is the one who did that. She brought that on herself. She has to deal with it. So I feel some type of way about Yaz sort of advocating for Tony. On the daybeds, you have Angel, Bilicus, and Emma. And so the girls are sort of trying to reassure Bilicus because Bilicus, I think, is nervous. She's been exploring this thing with this guy. She's been enjoying his undivided attention. And now suddenly somebody has been dumped by their partner and they've come back to say, oh, actually, I still do have feelings for you. So yes, she is entitled to feel how she feels. She's also expressed that she understands that Tony yes, might want to explore all aspects of the connection to make sure that it is ideal, but it doesn't feel good. So I feel sorry for her. I feel really bad for Bilicus that she's found herself in this situation. Shakira then receives a text message that goes, Islanders, it's time to get ready for the main stage at the first ever LI Fest, hashtag headline couples, hashtag WKDO 0%. Everyone enjoyed themselves. I love that they all put on their best. Everybody got ready. You could tell the girls were excited. They were taking selfies before they went out. Tiny Temper was the entertainment. And it's interesting that this season they've given them entertainment twice. Oh, but yeah, they did the same thing last time. It's only entertainment comes with a dumping. Cash put his best foot forward. He really enjoyed himself. You also had the likes of, Shakira. Shakira was having an amazing time. The fact that she pulled Connor into the middle of the stage and was dancing with him, I thought that was the sweetest. I think they make the best couple. I think they complement each other very well. And Shakira is able to sort of not only bring out the positive sides of Connor, but also settle him down when he gets out of hand. So I love that for them. After the concert, we have people sit down, we have couples, this normally happens. So we have Tony sit down for a chat with Cash right in front of everyone. I think this was staged. I think production asked for this sit down because they like the idea of the mystery, because otherwise there's no one else who is creating this mystery. So they sit down for a chat and Tony still feels some type of way about the fact that she was pied by Cash. Cash eventually gives in and he kisses her. What do I think? I think Cash has had a conversation with Bilicus first before kissing Tony, because there's no way he would have just been open to the idea of kissing Tony right in front of Bilicus and in front of everyone else. So I think this was staged. I think production asked for this and he must have asked Bilicus that, are you okay with it? And Bilicus must have given him a green light. This is why he's opened up and agreed to kiss her. It didn't really stand out for me. I think the sort of the fizzle has gone. I think if they do stay together, it's because Bilicus has been voted out and he has no other connection bar to explore with Tony. But I don't think it's as there as we are being made to believe that, there is this strong connection and they're exploring it and they're going to see how far they can push it. I don't know. I am going to side-eye it. Shakira sits down for a chat with Connor and she's sort of saying she understands that he is ahead in feelings or investment than she is. She has her walls up and she's been treated badly by Harry. She's been treated badly by the clique. So I would get why she would have her walls up. I would also have my walls up given how he cried when Megan left. So I understand why Shakira is reluctant to sort of just sit there and just open the door and say to him, you're free to walk in. So that makes sense that she would feel some type of way and would be wanting to protect her heart, because at the end of the day only she can do that. If she doesn't do that, then this man is not going to do that for her. So I get where she's coming from and I completely understand. Yasmin and Tony had this conversation that I fully didn't understand, if we're being honest, because I don't understand why Yasmin is being put at the center of this connection. Is it because there's no one else who's willing to sort of stand in between Tony and Bilicus? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Tony was happy that she had got a kiss, but still, Cash is saying he's undecided. And personally, I think it's being staged in a way whereby it's sort of making it seem like, he's leaning more towards Tony than he is towards Bilicus, which is really sad that women from specific ethnic groups are never made to appear as though they're desirable on Love Island. I don't care which country it is. They're never made to feel as though they're desirable. It's always as though they're begging for crumbs, and which makes me think maybe women from certain demographics or ethnic groups should not be attending or should not be applying to Love Island, because Love Island doesn't treat them very well. I think in the past couple of seasons that I've watched for Love Island UK, only Mimi has had a better journey, and that's after she went through fire with Ayo. So I side-eye production, really. I side-eye production because I don't think they're fair to certain people. You then had Harry and Helena sit down, and Harry asked Helena to be exclusive. Anyone surprised? No, I think it was more performative. I don't know how far that connection can last. I think it will last as long as Helena allows Harry to be him and to do him. Do I think there's emotional investment? I do not know. I think they both like the idea of the relationship because they spoke about their journey, how they snuck out in the middle of the night so that they could be a couple, and it's like there's nothing of substance between the two of you. There's nothing that stands out that makes you think, wow, they're an amazing couple. I've seen their growth. I've seen their journey. I do not buy it and I do not get it. So I don't personally understand why we're in this space. While the islanders, everyone is happy, is excited for them. Well, what do you do? This is something that has happened. You have to be happy. You have Maya Jama arrive. Maya Jama arrives. She reveals that the public have been voting because they all know as soon as Maya comes, then something is wrong. So Maya reveals the public have been voting. They've voted for their favorite 2 boys and their favorite 2 girls. The 2 girls are revealed to be Yaz and Tony. Am I surprised? No. I personally don't understand how Tony has been has jumped from being public enemy number one to now being at the top. I think it's more people wanting Tony to couple up with Cash. This is why she's the favorite. The favorite boys are Cash and Ty. And you can see that Dijon and Meg are sort of questioning, where are we going wrong? We've done everything. We've been coupled up since day one. We've been exclusive. We're now boyfriend and girlfriend. Why are people not voting for us? And it's the way you talk to people. It's just the way you talk to people. This is why people are turned off Dijon and Meg. And the fact that they're trying to play a game. They haven't been the nicest people to other islanders. And their game is so visible that people have been tuned out. Maya then reveals the bottom boys and girls. The bottom girls are Bilicus, Emma, and Angel. And the boys are Boris, Connor, and Harry. Am I surprised? I think the only surprising people for me are Bilicus and Connor. Because at the end of the day, people haven't really developed any connection with Bilicus because we've barely got to see her. We saw her when Boris was breaking up with her. We never saw her when they were having good times with Boris. And then we're seeing her now because there's issues in the sense that Tony is trying to win back Cash. Otherwise, we haven't seen her outside of her sitting there and being involved in other people's conversations. So I'm not surprised. I was actually thinking they're going to dump her, but as I said yesterday, the chances of them dumping Bilicus are highly unlikely unless there's 3 or 4 episodes left, because Bilicus represents a certain specific demographic or ethnic group on her own. And if they send her, yes, they might have 2 black guys in the villa, but what about the girls? It's going to be a talking point for a lot of people. So I don't know what happens there. You then have Maya reveal that she'll be back in the evening. The people that are dumped are Emma and Boris, and they should say goodbye and leave. Emma and Boris leaving. Am I surprised? No. Emma production expected her to want to rekindle with Harry, and sadly she didn't. Yes, she flirted with him, but that was it. Harry himself actually said she barely spoke to him, so I'm not surprised that she's been dumped because she didn't serve the purpose that production wanted to serve her to serve. I think for her this was her opportunity to close a window because she'd been carrying these feelings for, Harry and everything that he did to her, and so she wanted to air her grievances and keep it stepping, and she's managed to do that. The islanders then come back in, and on their way in, you actually see Cash hugging Bilicus very tightly because he's asking her, are you okay? I knew you were worried because you really stress a lot. And she just said, yeah, I'm good. They got ready. They sat by the fire pit. Jama arrives, and Maya reveals that, because there's 6 boys and 7 girls, the 2 girls that were left in the bottom need to stand up. And it's like, this isn't fair. This is not fair. I wish they'd done what Love Island USA did, in the sense that you ask people to stand behind the person that they want. End of the day, that would have made more sense, because by them standing behind the person that they want, then you'd have been able to see who wants whom to stay. Because it's a bit complicated in the sense that if they send Bilicus home, that means Tony and Cash have agreed to send Bilicus home so that they can explore a connection. And I don't know whether Cash is going to be willing to do that, because the only other 2 people voting are Yaz and Ty. So Yaz is going to go wherever Tony wants to go. That's it. Yaz is going to go wherever Tony wants to go. And the problem is Ty is in a couple with Angel, so I don't know whether he's going to be happy for his partner to be dumped, which means Bilicus might be in trouble. We'll wait and see what happens. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 43. Bye guys.